All right, hello everyone. Yeah, this is my, I don't know, fifth attempt to make this video because it's so many possibilities. I have so many ideas in my head right now, but I think I will just make more videos about it in the coming days, highlighting every feature and things that I find interesting. I just want to give you a brief overview here so you can decide if it's for you or not. So what is it? It's the Vermona qMI 2. It's a MIDI to a CV converter. That means it helps creating control voltage from any MIDI capable device or sequencer in that case. You can use it with your computer, you can use it with your MPC, you can use it with your Novation stuff. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be Octatrack like I use, or you can use it with the Digitech. Doesn't really matter. You can set which channels it should respond to, and you can then use one of these four gate and voltage per octave pairs to simply create the trigger and the pitch information for any semi-modular synthesizer that you have. And then you get two additional outputs on every track here, or I call them tracks, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get two additional outputs for CC data. For example, pitch bend, aftertouch, velocity, volume, and there's also pitch bend mode. So you can select what you want to use and where by going into the edit mode, and then you have to check this table at the top here. It says CV1 and CV2, and here is settings for the clock outputs, because it also has 3 clock outputs that can be in different divisions, subdivisions if you like. Then there's a trigger reset, a sequencer reset. That is helpful if you send start stop. Then it resets the sequencer back to 0, something that the default is incapable of, I noticed, which is very annoying. And then you just select the function by dialing it in with this knob, and then we are on the 1, and we can see all 4 tracks use this function. And then you go for CV2, you start at 5, and then you can activate this function here, or you can choose to only have the first 2 the velocity, and the bottom 2 are I don't know, pitch bend, stuff like that, you know. So yeah, that's how that works. I use mod wheel right now. It's a very simple patch. I don't need to interface so many parameters. I only use the trigger here for 2 and 3. They are for my snare and hi-hat, and then there's a kick, and I'm going to modulate it, the kick here with mod wheel, and also I control here the synthesizer part that I have at the top with the MS-20. All going here. I control the cutoff frequency. Okay, so yeah, then we just exit this out. Let's confirm that everything is still correctly configured. So we're gonna just hit the buttons. When you're out of the edit mode, they work as triggers. Okay, that sounds good. So now we can go over to our sequencer, and here is the Octatrack. Apologies if you cannot really see this menu here. I will make I would make get a better camera in the future, but yeah, it's being processed. I don't know what's going on. I have to wait. So I'm here at track number 1, and just the chromatic keyboard mode. So it's the keyboard, just pressing notes. Here's Dan. That's track 4, and that's the melodic thing. Okay, then I created a little groove here, 4 to the floor. And you can hear there's a nice decay going on, and I've separated the parameter modulation, the CC modulation, from the note track. So I created an auxiliary track here at number 8 and configured the mod wheel to be active on this part, and then placed here silent triggers with my parameter logs. So I can now remove this, and this is the default setting basically. And then I chose like, okay, place a silent trigger, and this should extend the decay. Now I can copy this trigger, and then I have my little tail going on, kind of like an offbeat bass, but yeah. Okay, so that's the kick, and that's already how it's worked. That's all there is to it. I can now parameter log and control voltage on my semi-modular synthesizers. And now let's add the hi-hat, basic pattern here, add the snare, and crappy melody. Okay, so, and for the melody part, I used another function that I now have access to thanks to this module. I can also put an LFO on a MIDI CC, and then have additional LFOs, up to 3 per track, or even more if I want, on the Octatrack, to modulate the synthesizer even further. So if you look at the synthesizer and you're like, oh, it only has 1 LFO, it's crap. Well, there's the solution. So to this problem, there's really, when it's semi-modular or something, then you have many options. Also in a DAW, it's the same deal. When I see like the VST synthesizer and only has like 1 LFO or something, and I read comments, oh, it would be great if it had more. Well, if you have a DAW that allows it to create an LFO for a control or a macro, and you're good to go. Just add one if you need one. So this is the same principle now, just that we use the sequencer here. So let me increase the intensity of this modulation here. And this is like the ramp or shark tooth, I don't know, a wave from the LFO. I could also design my own LFO shape here if I want, and that's the beauty of it. I can also increase the speed. Or the depth. Yeah, kind of like that. So, and all that thanks to this little box. So, yeah, if you're looking for an alternative, or to I don't know, get a solution to interface your semi-modular gear, beat step and key step and all that good stuff isn't always the answer. I think this is a much better investment because it's small, and it can work with many more interfaces. You can choose your own sequencer if you want. You don't need to have this keyboard if you don't like it, and so on and so forth. So I think it's a good fit for this kind of setup, and it's also unobtrusive. You can just put it, like when it's set it up, you just put it behind the stand or something, and there it is. You just have to remember, like, okay, mod wheel does that, channel XYZ, and that's it. Then you can have it as a permanent setup if you like. So yeah, anyway, another problem that it fixes is the hanging notes that I experienced with Behringer gear. So all of these 3 synthesizers here, they kept hanging notes as a MIDI melody was played to it from the Octatrack. I don't know why that is, what's going on. It seems to me like to be a thing with the Behringer stuff and certain sequencers. I don't know. When for example, it's not just the Octatrack doing that. I also experienced that with the MC707. So yeah, now going completely with just control voltage, remove this problem for me altogether, and it's working beautifully like since then. So for me, that again gives me again back the possibilities that I had before with my other setup. Just now it's more fun because of what you can do with the Octatrack sequencer, for example. Okay, that's my quick overview of this new module. I highly recommend it. Check it out. I mean, it's not cheap. It's 299 or 300 euros, $300, I reckon. I don't know. So yeah, it's not cheap. But then again, as I said, like the other ones that I mentioned that are somewhere in the same league, the key step, the beat step, the Korg SQ64 that recently came out. Yes, they're polyphonic. I know they're a bit more powerful and perhaps more fun to use. I don't know. But this is like a very specialized module for a special task. And it's not meant to be the star of the show as far as sequencing goes. It's just to bridge a gap. And it performs wonderful. So I don't know. I can recommend it. I mean, the other sequencers, they're also around 400, so it's not too expensive. I think it's decently priced. So if you're in a market for a solution like that, then yeah, maybe consider that. And as I said, I will make more videos about it, and we're gonna check out the polyphonic mode, play mode in the next video. And I also will do one with the M2 mode, which is this cycle mode where it goes through all lanes in sequence as a new note arrives, and that gives some interesting sound design possibilities. Like, for example, you can pan different voices then in the stereo field, or have different settings for each note, and so on and so forth. So very interesting stuff. We will look all at everything in the near future, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.